If there's one place in Azeroth where all Alliance players can lay down their swords and shed their cloaks, it's the Lion's Pride Inn in Shimmergold. I still vividly recall stepping into Lion's Pride 17 years ago, emerging from Elwynn Forest teeming with boars, goblins, and thieves. The warm ambiance, the bright candlelight, the welcoming innkeeper, and the clamor of countless adventurers. After a grueling quest, stopping at the inn became a habit, sinking into a chair, sipping a mug of malt ale, poring over quest notes, tweaking skills and talents. It wasn't just a waypoint in the game. It was the only home still glowing with light after traversing endless dark nights. The years have passed, and I've always wanted to bring something back from that world. So I decided to use 3D printing and brushes to bring the Lion's Cup, which has quietly sat for 20 years out of the virtual game. I began by shaping its outline digitally, piece by piece. It wasn't a glamorous chalice, but something sturdy and unrefined, a true laborer's mug. However, I imagined it sitting in a place of honor, bringing a touch of understated class to its corner of the world. I wanted to preserve that classic low-poly aesthetic from the game, so I intentionally avoided adding too much realistic detail. Over-sculpting it just wouldn't fit the overall vibe of WoW. I felt it would be a bit immersion-breaking, and the final piece would feel out of place once you actually held it in your hand. In the original game, the handle has some pretty sharp edges, but for the sake of comfort, I decided to add a slight fillet to those corners so it wouldn't poke your hand. It's a small tweak that makes it functional while preserving the original look to the greatest extent possible. I decided to split the handle into separate parts for the print. This not only ensures better print quality for each piece, but also makes assembly much easier while maintaining the overall structural integrity. Similarly, I designed a matching mechanism for the lid's opening handle. For the assembly, all it takes is a single M325 screw and a nylock nut, self-locking nut, to secure it perfectly. With that, the entire structure of the mug was complete. The only thing left was the final decorative touch, the Alliance Lion. I found the logo online and exported the path into my 3D software to extrude the model. There were a few hiccups along the way. I tried to take some shortcuts to save time, but after a lot of back and forth, I found myself right back at square one. In the end, I had to do it the hard way and retrace it by hand, bit by bit. With the files ready, it was time to hit print. I ran 3 printers simultaneously to save time, and in just one morning, the entire set was finished and came out flawlessly. The texture resolution in-game is pretty low, but based on experience, I can read which parts are meant to be physical structures and which are just painted shadows. In most scenes, this mug sits under a top-down light source. So those deep black areas aren't just years of oxidation. They're primarily a representation of baked-in shadows. Alright, analysis complete. Time is money, my friend. Let's get moving. With the bulk of the colors sprayed on, I'm switching to a brush for the fine-tuning. I decided to tune down the exaggerated shadows from the original file. They feel a bit too much in a real environment. It's all about using acrylics to refine the details now. It might look subtle in the video, but I believe the finished piece will be a real eye-opener. We've reached the final assembly stage. I'm using hot glue to mount the lion crest onto the side of the tankard. It's the finishing touch that really brings the whole piece together. Next up is the lid. I use the screw and self-locking nut to secure the handle. There's a tiny bit of play in the mechanism, but it's actually perfect. The movement feels buttery smooth. And there it is, the Lion's Pride Tankard, brought to life from the pixels of Elwynn Forest. It's no longer just a low poly model on a screen. It's a piece of our history you can finally hold. Whether you're a veteran of the First War or a new adventurer in Azeroth, this is for you. For the Alliance. For the Azeroth. The legendary Lion's Pride Tankard is complete. I've done my part to bring a piece of Azeroth into the real world now. What should I craft next? Drop your ideas in the comments.